Hey, yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to one of my GTA Online money making guide videos, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make a lot of money solo using the vehicle cargo. Now what you want to do is buy probably La Mesa. It's the cheapest vehicle warehouse. It's about a million, 1.2 million, sometimes it's on sale, and you're going to want to own an office. Now once you have those two things, you can register as a CEO. Now as you can see, I have stolen over 1,000 vehicles and I have exported 980, and I have made earnings of over 100 million. So I have quite a bit of experience doing this, so I'll be able to give you all the tips and tricks on what is the best methods to go about doing this solo and how you can maximize your profits. Alright, so before we source a vehicle, I'm just going to show you and explain to you quickly that what you want to do is have 10 standards and 10 mid-range. There are three types of range of vehicles: mid, standard, and top range. And if you have 10, maybe 11 or 12, but no more than 12 mid and standard range, you're very likely to get a top range, almost guaranteed every time you source. As you can see, I've just sourced lots of mids and standards recently. I've just been not really following my technique, and now I get sourcing mids and standards. So if you want to always get top ranges, make sure you have 10 to 12 mids and standards stored in your vehicle warehouse. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and source a vehicle. Now this is a top range. So every time you source a vehicle, you're going to be confronted with a different mission, and if you guys want, I can basically walk you through every single mission and upload the best video about the best way to do every single mission. But for now in this video I'm just going to be doing the mission that I get given, and what I do is I always use a cargo bob. Now a cargo bob is quite expensive, it's about 1.2 mils. When you're first starting out you don't necessarily need to buy a cargo bob to do this, but it is makes the job a lot easier, and you can actually even sell vehicles using a cargo bob, but I'm going to be explaining the costs and benefits of both ways of selling, with a cargo bob and without a cargo bob. Now this is a race, so you have to do a race to win the car basically, and so the cargo bob is useless at this point, but there's a trick that I use in the race, and what I do is I order my Oppressor Mark 1, because you have to use a ground-based vehicle in the race, but the Oppressor Mark 1 is recognized as a ground-based vehicle even though it has a rocket booster and you can glide in the air. So it is sort of like you're cheating in the race, but the game still recognizes it as a ground-based vehicle. So if you have one of these, it definitely helps. There's always a car nearby that you can use. So I'm just fast forwarding this bit here. You basically just jump on your Oppressor and away you go. Now there's a bit of a knack to this. You basically just want to maintain your boost. So you want to land on the ground and use your boost, and then glide after the boost has run out, and then use it again in the air. And basically just sort of picture where you're trying to land, and you'll be able to stay in the air and overcome all these mountains and houses, and it's a lot easier than driving the car. But if you don't have this, you can still drive the car. The race isn't too difficult to beat. So you just want to make your way over to where the race finishes, and when you arrive there, you have to beat it in that time, as you can see in the bottom right of the screen. And when you do get there, what you want to do is there's going to be the guy there. You just basically have to kill him because he's going to attack you. Now what I do here is now I order a cargo bob through Pegasus, and I cargo bob the car backwards because back to the warehouse, because if you don't cargo bob it, you're going to be, if you drive it, if you don't have a cargo bob you have to, but the guy's friends are going to attack you in their cars and it's going to smash up the vehicle and damage it. So the closest Pegasus place is just over here in Chumash, and I ordered the cargo bob here, and I make my way over and I'll be picking up the cargo bob. So this is just the most efficient way in my opinion to do this one vehicle source. I can upload a video showing all the others because there's a few other tricks to learn, especially in terms of sourcing the vehicles that are moving. When the police are chasing a person that has the vehicle, basically what happens is you can snipe the guy before he even moves and cargo bob the car, so you're not running around the city trying to get the car off someone who is being chased by the police. So basically you hook up to the car. Now in other missions what you want to do is raise up like this, get a very high altitude before you move forward. You want to hold back on the joystick a bit, because if you move forward then the enemies will start spawning. In this case it's just enemies with cars, but in other missions they're in helicopters, so you want to be able to travel fast enough, and if you're have a very low altitude and they spawn, you're going to have to slow down to gain altitude to be able to move forward. So you want to move forward after you've already gained a lot of altitude. Now, I know this is difficult in a big lobby, so you want to be doing this in a small lobby. In this lobby, as you can see, everyone's registered up. Everyone's basically doing CEO work and working on their GTA businesses, so I don't have to really worry too much about griefing or anything like that. So that's sort of the perfect lobby you want to find for selling and sourcing vehicles. Another one is basically an empty lobby, but when you sell in an empty lobby you will be confronted with the fact that AI will attack you, and the best method for that is to actually use a cargo bob to sell your vehicle, because the benefits of using a cargo bob is that you can basically, when selling, you deliver the vehicle over the top of everything. It's much faster and the AI basically can't attack you. The downside of using a cargo bob is that people can lock onto the cargo bob and blow you up, other players, but when you're selling it just regularly, they cannot actually lock onto your car that you're selling, but they can still blow you up, of course, if they throw a sticky bomb or whatever, or they manually shoot a rocket. Then in a free fire and it hits you, you will explode and you'll lose the car, but they cannot lock onto you with, say, an Oppressor Mark II. So in bigger lobbies, if you're selling, I recommend don't using a cargo bob. In smaller lobbies, when you're selling, if you're around people you trust, or if you're in an empty lobby, then definitely use a cargo bob to sell your top range vehicle. Now, as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and show you a sale, the best way I go about doing a sale, and I just have to cut the clip because I wasn't quite ready. There's a 15-minute delay for every vehicle you sell, so you've got to keep that in mind when running Vehicle Warehouse. So you want to basically, if you're doing it by yourself, every 15 minutes come back and have it set up so you have a top range ready to go. So you source a top range within that 15 minutes and maybe do some other CEO work. By the time that 15 minutes is up, you want to be selling it basically on that second. So you just change everything, one thing in every category. It's pretty simplistic. You don't need to change it to anything specific. And then you drive forward a little bit and get out of the vehicle. Now don't hang up on the assistant. If you hang up on the assistant, the timer for your cargo ping will start counting down, but if you don't hang up and you listen to her talk for just a little bit longer, then it takes just that extra few seconds for that global signal to drop. So you don't hang up on her and you get an extra few seconds. By this time I should be pretty good at picking up the cars, but I was just fumbling a bit here. I find the Tyrus the most difficult and frustrating car to cargo bob out of the top ranges, so I don't like selling that one. I'd rather just have it sitting there in my warehouse. Basically all the other vehicles are okay, except for the Tyrus. It's just got a really weird way of picking up with the hook. So you want to be looking around on your mini-map for other enemies and just sort of, well, not enemies, players, but avoiding them. And if you're in a solo lobby, just get some altitude so the AI can't attack you when you're selling with the cargo bob, and you just have to hit that marker and you will get the sale. So it was 20 grand to soup up, there was no damage to it, and there's 100 grand, no damage, so that's 80 grand profit every 15 minutes. So if you're also running CEO work, you can quickly grind up a lot of money, and in a couple of hours you can have $1 million quite easily. So now I'm going to show you the other way of selling, and I'm just selling a mid-range here. Always choose specialist dealer no matter what range you're selling, and I'm going to be just driving it to show you the best way that I sell when I just drive it out of the vehicle warehouse. So the GPS will tell you to take a right, I automatically take a left, and once again do not hang up on the assistant, don't even answer the phone. Just wait for her to auto answer, and then just listen to her talk for a little bit, and then see, now I'm already on the motorway and the GPS is readjusted and the signal drops then. So yeah, it took a little while for the signal to drop, not hanging up on the assistant. And basically you just avoid other players, take it easy, drive slowly, try not to crash. So I truly believe slow and steady wins the race, unless someone is basically chasing you in a car, and at that point you can sort of consider the sale busted. So you might want to just either try and throw a sticky bomb out, or yeah, don't worry about banging up the car at that point. And yeah, that's another sale, and I did get a little bit of damage there, but not much, only $100, $200 or something. So if you want to see more of these videos, then just give us a holler, and if you enjoyed this video, then maybe subscribe. Cheers, peace out guys.